Good afternoon. The former coach of Celtic boys club, Frank Kearney, has been jailed for a total of 4 years after being convicted of 9 sex offences against youngsters. The sheriff told 83-year-old Kearney he was a wolf in sheep's clothing. Our Home Affairs correspondent, Revel Alderson, was at Hamilton Sheriff Court.
He's 83 with a successful career in construction.
Mr. Kearney, do you have anything to say to get
But Frank Kearney was arriving at court for sentence. He'd been convicted of 9 sexual offences against teenagers in 2 boys' football clubs where he coached during the 70s and 80s. At Celtic boys club, Kearney on the right wielded great influence on youngsters' potential careers, using that to prey on them.
The sheriff said he had taken into account the fact that Kearney is almost 84 years old, but he had to balance that against the fact that he had had many years of quiet life since the abuse in the 1980s. In contrast, many of his victims had suffered badly over that period. Sheriff Kelly told Kearney, "You were a wolf in sheep's clothing. Parents believed you were a revered football coach, whereas in fact you were an active paedophile." And he jailed Kearney for a total of 4 years and placed him on the sex offenders register indefinitely.
Speaking to BBC Scotland last December, one of Kearney's victims, whose identity must be protected, welcomed his conviction.
I feel that for the future of children in football, that people like Frank Kearney should be convicted so that nothing similar that happened to myself would happen to any other person put up against people in positions of authority and the power that he had.
Kearney regularly attended Celtic events. He's the 3rd boys' club coach to be convicted of sex offences. Last month, Gerald King, a former chairman, was given 3 years probation for offences in the 1980s. And the club's founder, Jim Talbot, was jailed for 6 years last November for abusing boys over an 8-year period. Revel Alderson reporting Scotland, Hamilton Sheriff Court.